winning at all costs. Now, there are people who are professional winning at all costs, and they come to every meeting. No matter what it has nothing to do with them or their project. They're just there in the meeting, like they showed up, and they have to win. That's really, really difficult. Displaying anger, raising your voice. That's another difficult, controlling way of being disruptive. There's demeaning others, laughing at the other person, ridiculing ideas, and then sarcasm. So sarcasm can be funny. If you've ever sat in a room filled with salespeople who were like trying to meet their quotas, the sarcasm can be like a little poignant, but they're all kind of equal. It's not a project team meeting. They've got separate clients, and it's probably their stress reaction. That's the only time I've seen that it's funny. Otherwise, sarcasm is really, it's nasty, it's ridiculing, and it's really destructive. And then retaliating. What do you think about the retaliating? Any comments from Zoom?
My question is, as a project manager, so how do you handle a situation like this? Okay, those behavior happen during the meeting. So the question for us is, how do you handle it? What's the option we have?
Okay, so I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we're going to facing this from time to time.
Okay, retaliating, that could be kind of a sneaky way, like, oh, you were supposed to make a decision by Monday, it's Thursday, and on that budget or something, oh, I forgot all about it. That's kind of retaliating, kind of block the other person, you know, they don't make a decision, or they don't show up, they just ghost you. That's kind of like retaliating in a really sort of passive, destructive way. And these types, like Sarah was faced with Matt, who wins at all costs. The question is this your project? Do you have resources? I mean, you have to be very direct about this. Displaying anger. Maybe we should adjourn the meeting. Seems to be a lot of emotion here. Let's all quiet down. You can't put up with this behavior when it kind of takes your meeting and just kind of derails it. These are really derailing type of behaviors. And then demeaning others. Then as soon as someone makes a comment like that, we don't do that in this meeting. I think you have to be very direct, call it out, and not be emotional. Let's get back to the work. This is not a personality contest. It's, you know, it's whatever you have to say. The first time I led a project meeting, I was at, which was the manufacturing part of AT&T. This guy takes off his shoe. So I was banging on the table. And I have to admit, I was the only woman, and I was leading the meeting, and the men around, they go, whoa, put your shoe back on, what's going on? And I said, really, to him? You need to put your shoe back on. We haven't heard one thing that you said. I was just banging. And so, right away, everybody chimed in and quelled this guy. And he was made to look ridiculous, because that was ridiculous. And then I said, let's carry on unless you have something to say here of importance. You've got to deal with it right away. Don't let it just sort of linger there, and be direct. So that becomes important. Now, the more difficult ones to deal with are the passive destructive. Now, avoiding, you just don't, you don't show up to a meeting, you avoid the person, you don't go to lunch at the same time, you know, it's, you just avoid it. And then yielding. What's yielding?
Saying yes to everything.
Yeah, to avoid the conflict.
Right.
But that doesn't solve anything, you just said yes. And then hiding emotions, that's talking about your emotions, and self-criticizing. So that's what Sarah was doing. And she was practicing and probably some self-criticism. That sort of happens after the fact. Oh, I should have said this. It's okay if you say, gee, I should have answered him. Then you say, next time, I will do this. I'm going to work on trying to answer right away. If you give yourself a game plan, I'll try this, see how it works. You're at least thinking of actions to move forward, responses, you're not holding it in, you're not criticizing yourself. The next time I'm in a meeting with Matt, the light bulb goes off, maybe I should be prepared that he's gonna take credit for it. Wouldn't you think? I mean, so therefore, you're kind of in the mindfulness, preparing yourself, understanding he's that type of personality, this is what I have to do. So that's how you handle these things. You don't sit around for a week later or 3 days, oh, I should have done this. That doesn't do anything. You're ruminating, it's negative energy. Next time I'll try this, see how it goes. I'll get better at it the more I do it. These are not easy people to deal with. They're difficult. Yes?
So, from your perspective, in that situation, that Sarah could not meet Matt because he was out of office or
Right.
he was not available,
Right.
what would an ideal response be? She could not do that on that Friday afternoon.
Okay, so wouldn't you have said to yourself, during the meeting, like you didn't say anything, you might try to catch him after the meeting, right away. If not, maybe you go back to your office and shoot an email. We have to meet Monday morning.
Okay.
Something right away, if you didn't like that, now he might brush it off, he probably will, but, and then Monday morning, you go there and he's tied up, well, then tell the admin, I wanna meet with him, give him
Sure.
10 minutes, shoot him another email, be annoying. Cause he was annoying to you, I mean, really.
Sure, yes, thanks.
Yeah.
Even if you never meet with him, the email thing, you're reaching out, trying to be really a pain, cause he was a pain, right?
Yeah.
At least he knows he didn't get away with it.
Right, right, we all heard you, Matt.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, even if you don't meet with him, he's kind of getting the message. Not, you know, a difficult type may not, you know, oh, I did everything, you know, but, so that, the thing is you try.
Right.
If that doesn't work, you say, okay, that didn't work, so I have to get step 2, use my step 2.
What if his behavior never changes?
It probably won't.
So,
It's
I
until
mean-
upper management says to him, Matt, you're not getting promoted because of this.
You
Because
can
Matt-
choose to work with a different person, is that avoiding yielding?
No,
Okay.
I mean, who wants to work with Matt's all the time?
Exactly.
No, if you have your choice and you can get out of it,
Okay,
you know, out of the situation with him.
that's still constructive,
Yeah, because you have to take care of yourself.
absolutely.
And I doubt Matt will change unless some executive VP says to him, Matt, not every project is yours. I mean, your behavior, you won't get promoted unless you change your behavior. That's usually, and then they call in a coach to fix this guy, and he goes, well, I've gotten results, I'm wonderful. On every project, every project? Takes a long coaching. To get him there. So, yeah, I mean,
Okay,
those are definitely difficult people. Okay, now let's look at Pat's sample. Look at that graph. What does it tell you? These are supposed to be below average. Here's the average line, right here. This person's a little emotional.
Right. Anger is high.
Yeah. Yeah, winning at all costs. So self-criticizing, well, if a person is doing all these things, they're not self-criticizing. That's why that's so low. They really, and delayed responding, they're not delayed responding. This is who they are. So they have a lot of developmental areas to work on. It's a long coaching assignment. Yeah, I mean, so if displaying anger doesn't work, then I'm gonna demean others, and then I'll retaliate. I don't know why yielding is high, because that means that they gave in. So there's a difference between avoiding. Avoiding means you don't make contact with the person, you're aloof. But yielding means you give in. You say, okay, let's have the conflict end, you're right. Even though you don't believe that, and it's not true, but you do that. And maybe if it's a senior VP and you want your job, so you yield, okay. It's like the adapting, it's all situational. But this person resorts to a lot of destructive behavior. So I would not want to be on a project team or a meeting with them, because they're gonna resort to, they're unpredictable, essentially. And it's probably not a coaching type of engagement anyway, it's probably a little more counselor type thing, someone who behaves like this, so.
Or HR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
But in general, practically, we don't have a choice, right? Who gets put on the project team? We cannot go back and say this person's, first of all, you don't have visibility to some of these ratings of the person until you work with Immortal for some time. So initially, that first few weeks, the forming, norming, those stages.
Right.
So you don't really know the person, and
so that means you have to have your solutions, your constructive solutions, top and, really in front of you, how you wanna handle it.
Right.
What's your style,
Sure.
what you're comfortable at, what
Right.
you're good at.
yeah,
That's, and what you tolerate and not tolerate.
that's
So setting the ground rules, how we do things,
sure, yeah,
repeat that, new group,
sure.
get everybody's buy-in, right? I mean, these are, and what you'll tolerate.
Right.
Cause if this person's on your team, then you have to have a one-on-one with them, your behavior's not, this is not how we do things. On my project team,
Right.
we wanna complete the project. This person doesn't wanna complete the project. There's nothing positive. Does that make sense?
That
Yeah.
makes sense, yeah.
Okay, let's go on to hot buttons. So, I have worked with every, that's me, all right. I have worked with every one of these type of people sometime in my career. I'm sure you have too. I have stories about the micromanager I worked for, who would call me when I take a day off to buy my children clothes for school. She'd be calling me, they'd be running, my kids would be running around the mall, and I'd be on the phone with her about some irrelevant question. Then I go in the next day and I go, I looked up the question you wanted, you shake your head, right, and, and it was all this I don't even think she micromanaged. So, my peer and I decided the way to handle her was to send her emails every 2 days. Here's the status update of this project, this project, this project. Well, we started doing that, and she backed off a little bit. She definitely backed off. But it was still these crazy types of questions that she would come doing. So you figure out ways to handle all of these difficult people. But which ones really set you off? That's what you have to look at. Which ones are really make conflict? Is the guy who unreliable, never shows up, see the one that really like starts creating conflict, or the abrasive one? So maybe you can handle the hostile guy and the abrasive one, but when someone's aloof, that just does it for you. So everybody has hot buttons. And the thing to realize is which one sets you off and kind of cool them, de-escalate them emotionally. So I'm going into a meeting with Mr. Over-Analytical, so I'm gonna be all factual, not gonna ask what he did over the weekend or how's the family, get right down to business. Not my style, but that's his stuff. So you figure out ways to handle, to de-escalate, so you don't get so upset and there's less conflict.